So, I have a bit of a confession to make. I like gaming mice to a certain extent. Well, actually, no, not to any certain extent. I adore them. I have like a collection. I'll show you. I'll show you. That's all my gaming mouse, by the way, that I bought. And I probably broke some wires. It's because I've been looking for the perfect mouse for me ever since I started properly playing FPS games about 2018. Properly, I wanted to find the mouse that suited me the best. I used to play originally with the G502, which would be this one here. And then I kind of moved on to the Nexus Rebel, which is here. And I feel like I found the perfect mouse. Not just for everyone, but for me. And that was this mouse, the G303 Shadow Edition. But we're not going to talk about that mouse. Why? Because I want to talk about the mouse that everybody, I think, will end up owning or consider owning it if they want to get into competitive FPSs. And it's this mouse. This is my review of the Logitech G Pro Superlight. Okay, to minus out the really bad background that we've got going on here and everything else, let's talk about the Superlight and what makes this quite a special mouse to a lot of people. So for the measurements, this is roughly about 125 by about 60 centimeters here, with the back flare roughly here, just flaring out just a tad bit, and it keeping it straight all the way to the top. And this mouse also has just 5 programmable buttons using the Hero 25K sensor, and was, before I modded it, using Virgin Pure PTFE feet. Now, what makes this mouse quite special for a lot of people is just how comfortable you can get with this mouse. And the reason I say that is because if you look at the shape and how people end up gripping it, especially how I naturally grip it, it can conform to a lot of ways. And you'll notice how different people grip it, how I grip it. Everyone seems to find their grip. You're not forced into a certain style of grip. You can kind of do whatever you want. You can palm this mouse kind of like this. You can claw it. You can fingertip it or find any variations. Really, really good for that. Considering as well, this also weighs around 60 grams and it's wireless. Oh, damn. This mouse is going to be hitting a lot of good things right now. Now, going on to back to the shape and my experiences with the shape. It's a good shape. But the problem is, it just doesn't work for me. And let me explain. Because of the style of the shape, as I mentioned, going with the back hump, just kind of slightly, if I get the great camera angle, slightly curved out here, but it's mainly straight. Your best way to see it is from this angle. If I show you like this, it straightens out a bit, and it's quite a flat and more bulky version of what I would consider a asymmetrical shape that is similar to the FK1, where the FK1 has a lot more curves to it, especially around the middle, which you can dig your thumb into. It kind of straightens it out with the G Pro Superlight, and the hump is quite risen in the middle, so it allows for anyone that has a palm grip to kind of just seal it in. Now, my problem is a couple of things, and these are my personal gripes, but again, some of these have been solved through various modding and methods that you can use. One of them was the coating. Personally, I don't like the coating on the G Pro. I find it's a little bit too slippery for me, a little bit too glossy. I prefer a bit more of a matte finish. I found that when it comes with the stock, with these stock grip tapes that are supplied with the Superlight, tends to solve this problem. I don't know if they're still being sold at the moment, but they tend to solve that kind of issue. Or you can go for BTL grips. I've heard a lot of people love those kind of grips. And also, for me, the mouse switches are a bit too light if we're going to go for a little bit of a listen. So they're using Omron switches. We don't know what kind of Omron switches they're using, but for me, they kind of activate a bit too light. So I tend to kind of press the button a little bit too heavy. I like to prefer a bit more of a heavier switch. It's also another problem that I have with the G303, but that's not part of the conversation. This is. Now, these are some of the problems, but again, going back to the shape, because it is, I would consider a jack of all trades kind of shape where it can kind of work for anyone, because it allows you to conform to whatever grip that you really want. It doesn't force your hand into a certain grip. For me, I find that provides a bit of inconsistency. So 1 minute I'll be gripping my mouse as such, or I'll be displaying it with footage that I made from my camera on my phone, where I grip it like this. And this is how I naturally would say grip a mouse. I have what is like a pincer claw grip. So I grip it as a claw style, like this, and then gripping it at these sections of the palm right here. Now, the problem that I have is that I sometimes have my fingers, when I get a little bit more relaxed, start to move across the mouse, and I don't always have a consistent grip. Now, some people don't usually have this problem. I do personally, so I find that I need to find a mouse that has a bit more flair, a bit more style, or just a bit more aggressive in terms of its shape, in order to get a consistent grip all the time. Problem with the G Pro Superlight is, even though when I find that grip it works, and I'll come into my performance with the mouse, I find it very difficult to even get a consistent grip. And sometimes it just feels like one day I actually have the best grip with it and I can perform as well as I could with a G303. Other times it just doesn't happen and I'm just having a really, really bad day. But on to performance, when I actually use this mouse properly, it is really good. Once you get that consistent grip, the lightweight nature of the mouse allows you to make incredibly fast flicks, very effortlessly, very easily. Now, for a lot of people, this is going to be a little bit uncomfortable to get used to due to that low weight. So I recommend to a lot of people, lower the sensitivity so it feels a lot more natural. But if you can get used to it quite quickly, trust me, you'll be able to make flicks so quickly. It feels like you have a bit more control. It's very weird feeling having a very lightweight mouse and being able to just control even down to the minute details, like your pinpoint precision, a bit of your accuracy, just being able to make micro adjustments very, very easily and on the fly. Whereas with a heavier mouse, it feels like you're holding either a brick, or it just feels a little bit harder to do consistently. Having something lightweight such as this is a game changer, especially in the fact that it's wireless, and we're starting to see more companies come out making even lighter weight wireless models like the Superlight. But again, it comes down to personal preference, and for me, the problem that we got is that this grip that I try to implement, and I've messed around with this quite a bit. I've used a palm grip, fingertip grip, and claw grip, and I play the best at claw grip. I just can't find a consistent grip with this. But this is, again, my sort of thing. I'm able to find a more consistent grip with the G303 Shroud Edition because of the style of the shape, as you may notice. It's much more aggressive, much more flared out towards the sides, and makes it more bulky towards the sides, and then narrows it itself inwards, whereas this keeps a very, very straight shape with not much curvature in the middle. So where I would say the thinnest point would be between the middle section of the mouse here and here, you'd usually have a little bit more of a consistent grip around there, especially even with your thumb. It's a bit more flattened out and more squared off. Kind of feels like a rectangle in a way, but with small amount of curves. But again, I can also see why this shape appeals to a wide variety of people. And in the end, I think a lot of people will end up liking this mouse because of it. It performs very, very well. It is expensive, but the most important thing you're going to get out of this is the fact that for £120, I can see this going on for sale for like £100, maybe slightly cheaper. This is a mouse I would recommend to a lot of people if you want to get into competitive shooters and have something that's consistently good for you to start with. If you find that the shape isn't right, or you have used mice before but you find that shapes like these don't offer you a very consistent grip, I personally wouldn't recommend this. But for a lot of people, because I'm in a minority that this doesn't really suit, I would highly recommend this mouse. Quite honestly, this is also a a genuine masterpiece. Another thing to add is this has no holes, and it's managed to maintain around roughly 60 grams, which is incredible. So for a bulky FK style shape, 60 grams, that's also wireless, I would pick it up. And quite honestly, you wouldn't really get a much better option unless you want a bit more flair or a bit more of an aggressive style. For those, I'd push away to different mice. But if you want an ambidextrous kind of shape that you can get into and kind of find your grip a little bit, even though you may run into problems of inconsistency in maintaining that grip, you're honestly going to have something really, really good on your hands. So yeah, the G Pro Superlight. What do you think of this mouse? Do you like it? Do you not? Leave a comment down below. Be sure to give it a like. Also subscribe to this channel. I'll probably be doing more mice reviews. Actually, you know what? Scratch that. I will definitely be doing more mice reviews, since I like just this idea of just collecting, but also seeing which one kind of improves my aim. At the moment, my end game is this, as I've already stated before, but my opinions may change over time. And also, more importantly, I want to make sure that if people that are getting into FPS games or just really getting into competitive shooters as well, I want to find the best mice that suits you. And for a lot of people, I honestly think this will do quite a lot of wonders. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you all in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.